Welcome students! Today's video is on identifying intercepts and using them to graph linear functions. We're going to start with some key definitions. The first word you need to know is x-intercept. The x-intercept is the spot where a line meets the x-axis. Remember that the x-axis runs across and it is the flat line that creates our coordinate grid. This is also the spot when y equals 0. You should get into habit of also remembering anytime I'm looking for my x-intercept, that means my y is equal to 0. My y-intercept is the spot where a line meets the y-axis, or the intersection point of the y-axis. Remember, the y-axis is the axis that runs up and down. If you ever forget, remember you can turn the y-axis into a y. This is also the spot where x is equal to 0. In my notes, I would make sure that I star both of these because that's really important to remember. Example 1, find the x and y intercepts from the given graph. Looking at my line, I want to go across the x-axis until I see a spot where my line is intersecting. So as I go, I see a spot right here at -1. That means my x-intercept, the spot where y is equal to 0, my x value is equal to -1. Now you also want to get in the habit of writing that as an ordered pair. So fill in the two parts of an ordered pair that you know. An ordered pair is always made up x comma y. I know my x is -1. I know my y is 0. This gives me my ordered pair, and I have my x-intercept mapped out. Now I'm going to look for my y-intercept. Remember, your y-intercept is the spot where x is equal to 0. So I'll go up and down my y-axis until I see the spot where it's intersecting the line. In this case, right here at +1. That means y is equal to 1. And then I just have to remember to write my ordered pair. Remember, it's always x comma y. In this case, I know my x is 0 because I'm looking at a y-intercept, and I know my y is 1. That gives me the ordered pair 0, 1. Pause the video and try the next one on your own. Unpause when you're ready to check. Looking at my intersection points, I see that I'm looking at 2 and 4. Now I just need to organize them, so my x-intercept, where y equals 0, happens across the x-axis, so the flat line, and x is equal to 4. This means that is found at the ordered pair 4, 0. Notice an x-intercept has an x value in my ordered pair and nothing for y. My y-intercept will be the opposite. So for my y-intercept, where x is equal to 0, y is equal to +2. So that creates the ordered pair 0, 2. Notice for my y-intercept, my x value is nothing, but my y value is 2. Find the x and y intercepts from the given table. When looking through a table of values, if I'm looking for the intercepts, remember your x-intercept occurs when y equals 0. Your y-intercept occurs when x is equal to 0. So I'm going to find the zeros in my table. As I go through my ordered pairs, notice this is x and y, which means these are really just ordered pairs, like -1, 45. Anything I see that doesn't currently have a 0 in it isn't going to help me find intercepts. So I'm going to get rid of it. So those 3 ordered pairs can just be crossed off. I'm only going to use these boxes. Next, if I'm looking for my x-intercept, that tells me y needs to be 0. So I'll go across my y column until I see a 0, which I see right here. Then I need to ask myself, when y is 0, what is x equal to? So I'll go up in the table and locate that 2. So x is equal to 2 when y is 0, which gives me an ordered pair 2, 0. Next, I'm going to go across the x line, because for y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So I'll follow my x's until I find my 0. That's located at 0, 30. So y equals 30, and my ordered pair is 0, 30. These are my two intercepts. Try this next one on your own. Cross out any unneeded table values, and then find your x-intercept and your y-intercept. Pause the video and unpause when you're ready to check. Your x-intercept, again, is when y is equal to 0. So as I go in my table, I see that happens right away. My x value at that spot is negative 4, so I end up with the ordered pair negative 4, 0. My y-intercept happens when x equals 0. So as I go down my table, x equals 0 right here. At that point, y is equal to 2, and I have the ordered pair 0, 2. Next, we're going to find x and y intercepts from a given equation. Remember, you've heard this many times in the video, but at the x-intercept, that is when y is equal to 0. If I know that y is equal to 0, that means I can plug it into the equation I'm working with. So, I'll take 4x minus 3 times my y value equals 12. And I know, in this case, y is equal to 0. Then I'll just solve this equation. 4x, and then negative 3 times 0 is just 0. So that whole chunk goes away. It's going to be equal to 12. I'll divide both sides by 4 and figure out x is equal to 3. That means my x-intercept is located at 3, 0. Next, I'm going to look for my y-intercept, which again, remember, is located when x is equal to 0. So just like before, I'll write out my equation. Plugging in that 0 for x, then I solve. 4 times 0 goes away and just becomes 0. So then I have negative 3y equals 12. I divide both sides by a negative 3, and now I know y is equal to negative 4. That means my intercept right there is 0, negative 4. Example 6, find the x and y intercepts from the given equation. Again, remember your x-intercept occurs when y equals 0. It might sound redundant, but you want to get in the habit of always writing this out. This right here is a reminder to me what I need to do next. To solve, I'm going to plug 0 in for y, and that's going to be equal to negative 3x plus 2. Then I'm going to solve the equation. So subtract 2 from both sides. That gives me negative 2 equals negative 3x. I can divide both sides by negative 3, and I get x equals 2/3. Now I know I have the ordered pair 2/3, 0. Next step, I want to find my y-intercept. Remember, this is when x is equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, I can plug it in. So that tells me y equals negative 3 times 0 plus 2. That means this whole chunk goes away, and I have y equals 2, which is already solved for me. So then now I just write my ordered pair, 0, 2. Notice this form is really quick and easy for finding the y-intercept. That's going to be really useful to us later this unit. Example 7. Again, we're finding the x and y intercepts. Your x-intercept happens when y is equal to 0. That means that I need to plug 0 in for y. So 0 minus 8 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 2. Now, in order to get rid of that negative 1/2, I want to multiply that by a negative 2. So I'll do that on both sides. That's going to give me positive 16 equals x minus 2. Then I'll add 2 to both sides, and I get x equals 18. Then I just write it as an ordered pair, which gives me 18, 0. That is my x-intercept. To find my y-intercept, that again is where x is equal to 0. So I plug x equals 0 into my equation. So y minus 8 equals negative 1/2 times 0 minus 2. That means that what I'm really looking at is y minus 8 equals negative 1/2 times negative 2. That means y minus 8 is equal to positive 1. If I add 8 to both sides, I'll get y equals 9, which then lets me make my ordered pair 0, 9. Thanks for watching.